Yo, so this is Kieran for Getting Our Shit Together, and I'm delighted to be able to say that I'm joined by Dale of Modern Valor Dating. Now, I spoke to his protege, if you like, Troy. Dale is his mentor, so I'm really happy to be speaking to him. So, Dale, thank you. Thanks for being on.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm excited, man. I'm ready to do this. Troy's interview was super dope. I was stoked when I watched it, and yeah, man, I'm more than happy to be here for sure.
Dude, awesome. I love the energy. So we've been having these lighting issues, so I'm in and out, but Dale's the one who's going to bring the content today and bring that fire. So I think it's only appropriate that you're better lit. So man, listen, we were talking before the call. We were saying my brand is Getting Our Shit Together. So we really focus on sort of 5 elements. So that's dating, fitness, finances, nutrition, and spirituality. With the idea being that at the moment, I really understand dating. I can help the viewer with that. And the gimmick is, if you like, that we'll go on that journey together to learn about those other 4 disciplines and improve those. Now, you are a chap who's successful in a few different domains. So I know before the call, we were talking about your housing business and what you've got going on there. So I think today it'd be good to sort of talk in general about getting our shit together. But before that, could you just give us a little bit of an intro for yourself and what you're up to?
Absolutely. So I'm Dale Valor. I started and I run Modern Valor Dating. We just hit our 1-year mark last week, so we're a newer company for sure, no doubt about it. But I've been involved in whatever you want to call it, quote unquote, game or the pickup community for 14 years. And I've been coaching guys for 3 or 4 years, now. So yeah, man, I mean, look, I'm really excited about all the stuff that we've got going on, things that are coming up in the future. We got a free program that's going to be coming out soon. That's 100% free.
Wow.
No, nothing. You ain't got to send us a dime. It's going to be a full program, videos, copy, all that stuff. And we're filming a boot camp this week and this weekend. That's going to be a part of it too, so you can see what it's like working with us one-on-one. It's going to be super dope, man. I'm so excited about all the stuff that we got coming up.
Well, just for the completely uninitiated, what is a boot camp in terms of dating?
Well, basically what we're going to do is we're working with a guy that lives here local to me and Troy, which is Detroit. And we're going to help him. He's had some dating struggles, getting out, being able to approach, being able to carry a conversation with a woman, build some comfort, rapport, things like that. And, so what we're going to do is we're going to do some classroom stuff and talk about different ways. See, look, you hear a lot of guys talk about theory, and I'm not the guy to throw coaches under the bus. I don't talk bad about anybody. But all I'm saying is anybody who knows anything about this community knows that theory is a buzzword. And so we're not theorists, man. We're practitioners. So what we're going to do is we're going to show this guy exactly how he should do it, built around him. It's not a one-size-fits-all method. It's what works best for the individual. I tell people this all the time, man. It's not about how can I put it, man? It's not about, like I said, a one size fits all mentality.
Yeah.
Everything works, man. Direct, indirect, Tinder, cold approach. Everything works. It's just a matter of what works best for the individual.
I like this. I like what you're saying there, because that's certainly my approach. So if I have a client coming through the door, the first session that we're going to do is going to be a consultation. Let's find exactly where you're at. Okay, we're like exactly. So like, okay, this is like, and then from there we're able to build something. A lot of other coaches and a lot of quite esteemed guys who've been doing this a long time very much have sort of quite a rigid program. And fair enough, like this is a high ticket industry, so they get people through the door and they want that client, that customer with them for the next year or so. and maybe that client's gonna pay them 8K for the next year, and it's very, very regimented and structured, but it loses a little bit of that bespoke nature that we're talking about, where we can say, okay, because I mean, I've spoken to guys who are going on courses and they're sort of saying, well, I'm not a beginner with this, but sometimes I get thrown in with other beginners, and it's like I could skip half of that and not spend that amount of money, if you like. So, so my question is, sorry to cut you off there, but my question is, you've been doing this 3-4 years. Did you have an idea to sort of go that route, or did you always want to keep it very bespoke to the client?
You know, it was funny, man. I'll just give you a real brief history. So when I started out in this, you know, there was no local community to me. It seemed like all like the big coaches and mentors of the day, you know, those guys were in California, in New York, and in Florida, you know. In Detroit, it was like crickets, ghost town, you know. And for a long time, man, I thought I was the only one in Metro Detroit. You know, there's 4 million people that live around here. I was the only one in Metro Detroit that even knew that pickup existed, you know. And it took me 10 years to actually find a local community of guys that were interested in learning this stuff. But this is what I found, man. When I found that group, you know, they tended to be the most motivated individuals that I have ever came across. And when I say motivated, I don't just mean like, hey, let's get out and try to pull. Let's get out and try to get this girl's number. I mean, motivated across the breadth of their life. You know, we're talking about like financial things and having a life plan and going out there and trying to execute it to the best of their ability, trying to level up in their job and all those things. And so that was motivating to me because I was already like that, you know? And so it was motivating to me to see a group of guys that was into just trying to be better, you know? And yeah, man, so I found it inspirational, and then I wanted to inspire, you know, it kind of like reciprocal. And it didn't take long before I was part of the leadership of that community. We had a local group of about 300 guys. And every month there'd be about 50 or 60 dudes meeting up and then going out afterwards. And it didn't take long before I was part of the leadership there. And then things kind of fell apart. I'm not going to go into all that, but things kind of fell apart. And I noticed so many guys were coming to me, maybe because I was a little bit older and experienced, you know, but they were coming to me asking for advice, asking for help. And I found myself being able to give the right advice at the right time that they needed to hear. And I was like, you know what? I think I could do this, you know, and I partnered up with somebody and we started a company and whatnot. And that kind of fell apart. But that's when I started doing Modern Valor Dating.
I like this. It's just whatever the obstruction in the way was, you just kept plowing forward. And just to sort of paint this in, because I always want to, if someone's not listening, who is listening, sorry, who's not in this community, and wants to just sort of get their head around what we're saying here, because it can seem a bit odd, frankly, right? It's just like, what do you mean? What, 50, 60 guys are meeting up and then they're all going out together and what, they're swapping notes on how to pull women, and it's like, kind of, yeah, but it's coming from a wholesome place. Like consent is obviously always at the forefront of everything. I'm sure
you always reinforce safety. I tell my guys that all the time. Reinforce safety.
And sorry to interrupt, but for the most part, it's like some of these guys are nervous guys that they've not done this before, and it's like a bigger brother just being like, look, man, this is how it's done. I'll show you. Like I said, we're always thinking about consent. And some of the other guys, not everyone's going to be nervous. Some guys are just like yourself, are going to have a certain level of experience and be able to come in and be a bit of a mentor. And that's a great feeling. It's a great feeling to take a guy who's very nervous and bring him out of his shell. And then 3 years, you look down the line, he's got this fabulous wife and like they're starting a new family, and he might not have got there. His DNA, like his lineage might have stopped at him. Unless he didn't do that skill set. I just wanted to add that in, but yeah, sorry, you were sort of saying.
Man, I mean, look, you know, this is what I find, and I'm a big believer in this, is that guys get into this community or whatever you want to call it, man. subculture, whatever. Guys get into this because they see a need in their life. They see there's a pain point there. Hey, you know, I had a crush on this girl and she went with the exact guy that I knew that she would, and he treats her terrible. Why couldn't she be with me? I'd have treated her right. You know, and you hear that story time after time. Hey, in high school, I was kind of a loner and, you know, I couldn't get girls. I couldn't talk to girls. I couldn't get girls interested in me, and I couldn't make friends and this, that, the other. Guys get into it oftentimes because of those things. But what they quickly, or at least they should quickly realize and find out is that, okay, you came to get better with women, but you stayed because you saw that you needed to make changes about yourself. Because once you realize, okay, if I'm going to be an attractive guy to women, there's prerequisites that need to be established and need to be worked on. You know, like that's kind of like, you know, you hear about like inner game and outer game. A lot of those inner game concepts, like having healthy self-esteem, having confidence, having competence, you know, you know, leveling up in every area of your life.
Yeah.
Not just dating.
Yeah, exactly. Not just dating. It's sort of dating will get you in through the door because it's like a real pressure pain point, like you're saying. Like, I've got this need, I want it fixed. And then once you get through the door, you learn like, okay, I'm not going to be able to fix this with some band-aid thing of like, well, I'll learn some tips and techniques. It's like, no, I need to become an attractive person, and I need to get my shit together on a like, okay, what's my drive? So let's talk about that a little bit. So if we put dating to one side for a second, let's say we get a guy coming through your door, and he's like, Dale, help me out in my life in general. He's sort of unfocused, undisciplined. Maybe he's just come out of college and doesn't know quite what to do with his life. Where do we go from there? How are you going to start working with that guy?
Well, the first thing that I'm going to do is find out what his major sticking points are, meaning what obstacles is he running into most often? And 9 times out of 10, it's I'm afraid to approach. I'm afraid to walk up and talk to a girl in at the mall, at a store, at a bar, wherever, you know. There 9 times out of 10, that's usually the main sticking point. Then second to that, it's because they don't have the confidence to do it, you know? And so that's kind of where we start from there. But second to that, I'm trying to find out, dude, what is your purpose, man? What path are you on? What are you trying to accomplish? You know, if I walk around my neighborhood, right, and I knock on doors, I'm going to take a survey and I'm going to ask people, what is it that you want out of life? You know, more often than not, the answers are going to be, oh, I wish I could make more money. I wish I could buy a better house. I wish I could buy a new car. I wish I could get my kids, you know, set up to go to college. I wish. And those are all great things, but those are all knee-jerk reactions, man. That all sounds like something that you should say. It's not something that you're building towards, right?
Yeah.
You want to demonstrate a clear path to success, not just talk. We've all known the guy that says that they're going to start a business, that they're going to do X, Y, and Z while they got the PS5 controller in their hand and hitting the blunt. You know what I mean? We all know that guy. And it's like after a while, dude, it's just noise coming out of somebody's face. You know, because you know they're never going to do it, man. Even if they have good ideas, they're never going to put those ideas to action. That's what should be first and foremost, is finding out what your purpose is and going out there and moving down that path. Because believe you me, you are on a path one way or the other. You know, you're either going towards your purpose, your mission, or you're going away from it. But you're on a path. Which one are you going to go? You know, which one are you going to go towards? And now from there, you can decide, okay, look, this is the most important thing to me. This is what I'm trying to do. What women can I bring into my life that's going to be an asset to that and not a liability? Because it's a lot harder going down that path when you got 120 pounds on your shoulder. It makes it a whole lot easier if that person's walking next to you, helping you out. right?
Yes. Yeah, no, I'm completely in agreement. And I'm just thinking like methods by which, because what we're saying is that Dale, you might have a different, well, you definitely have a different personality to me. You're your own unique person. I'm my own unique person. And
Right.
we have a certain destiny. And to some extent, it's predetermined because there'll be something inside of you that's leaping to come out, right? And it's about finding out what that is. So you might want to do something like the Big Five personality test, right? Which is to say whether you're extroverted or not, whether you're neurotic or not, whether you're open to new experiences or not, whether you're conscientious or not. And there's another one as well. I'm struggling. I was trying to think of it then, but I couldn't think of it. And it's go through that, and like obviously your personality can change to some extent, but there is a core of you as well. The other thing is the Myers Briggs 16 personality test. Doing something like that and finding, and again, like don't put too much stock by it. I mean, some people call it like astrology for the middle class,
Well,
like Myers Briggs thing. But it will get you to a point of thinking, okay, this is sort of where, like, for me, I know I'm extroverted. I know I'm open. I know I'm naturally not very conscientious. So that's why I've got to kick a boot on my ass. Do you see what I mean? But this sort of informs me, like, okay, I'm extroverted, I'm open. I probably want to do something where I'm going to take some risks. I probably want to be a bit entrepreneurial. I probably want to talk for a living to some extent, right?
Yeah.
And so, and I think that's like a good way that we can talk to our clients and say, okay, like if we go through processes like this, we can sort of find out what is it inside of you that wants to leap out, and then you'll know what it is because you'll be really enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but here's the caveat to that I think a trap that a lot of guys fall into is like, okay, I'm gonna take the Myers Briggs test, right?
Yeah.
And I'm INTG or what, I don't even know what the acronyms even mean. Okay, but what I'm saying is, okay, I take this test. It has now been declared I am this, so I have to live within the confines of this, and so I can't ever do anything else because I have to live inside of this box. Okay, and so I think that's a trap that some people fall into. Is like I see so many people, man, that are like, oh, I'm introverted, so I can't do that. Even though I wanted to do that, I can't because I'm introverted. It's not because you can't, it's because you won't. Yeah. And all you've got to do is start stretching your comfort zone out a little bit by a little bit. Nobody picks up a paintbrush and is like, oh, well, look at this, I'm Picasso, right off the bat. You know what I mean? Nobody does that.
I remember thinking that as a kid, just like, well, I didn't take to it, so it's obviously not for me. But of course, you're right. It's like, yeah, every discipline takes work. Yeah.
Yeah, you small chunk it, and then see what happens from there. A lot of guys are like, especially younger guys, we deal with a lot of like college age dudes and stuff like that, or fresh out of college, and they don't know what that purpose is. And that's okay. You'll find it as long as you look for it. So I tell people like this: you don't know what your purpose is? I'm going to give you your purpose right now. I'm going to mandate your purpose. You ready? And they're like, yeah, okay, what is it? I'll be like, your purpose is to find your purpose. Meaning, whatever is on the peripheral of your interests. Say you're one of these people who's like, I think it would be it might be kind of fun if I took a cooking class. Man, maybe I'll do that one day. Make that date today.
Yeah.
Go out and just try it. Try it. It's like trying on clothes, man. I could try on this zip up and be like, oh, it doesn't really fit that well. Let me get a different size. Take it off and try that one on. I don't have to, just because I put this on and it's like, say the sleeves only come up to here and it's super tight on me. I don't have to be like, well, I guess this is what I'm wearing now. Like, I don't have to do that.
I was destined to wear it, so I got to wear it.
Yeah, right. So try things that are peripheral interest, because you never know. You could go to a cooking class for a month and be like, you know what, I really, really enjoy this. And it seems like I have a natural disposition to this. Maybe this is something that I could really work towards as being my purpose. Like I said, Picasso earlier, You know, Picasso didn't know he was Picasso till he picked up a paintbrush and started working on it, right? You know, LeBron James didn't know he was LeBron James till he picked up a basketball. Right? You know, like, you got to just start and try and see what works. I mean, look, people always bitch and complain about, like, oh, you know, there's just not enough, you know, things to do. You know, like, I'm always bored all the time. Dude, like, I get it, COVID. Okay, fine. That's not going to be forever. All right. So when things start, you know, and we're moving in that direction of normality, dude, go on meetup.com, man. You know, go to a wine tasting, go to a cooking class, learn a different language. You could do, like, look, if you ain't got nothing going on, man, you know, 5 days a week, you could go out and maybe take yoga, maybe whatever. And you know what? When you're doing that, guess what? You'll also meet women too.
Yeah. But even, you know, like, even give the restriction of COVID, right? I mean, like there's still a million things that you could do. You could be like, right, I'm gonna improve my 10-second sprint time, just for a random goal, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna film it, and I'm gonna put it on my Instagram account 3 times a week, and I'm gonna see if, like, I get any interest from people thinking, oh, he's improving his time. Like, if my friend was doing that on his Insta, I'd be like, fuck, yeah, this is interesting. Like, that's cool. And like, if it was like, you know, if it began this little process, and like it was like a little rock that got momentum going down a hill, it's interesting, and it's something to do. It's something different. Like, so there really isn't an excuse, COVID or not. There really isn't an excuse.
You're right. There absolutely is no excuse. You should be looking for things in your life that you want to level up, things you want to try, things that you want to do. The only thing holding you back is you. That's it. And you know, I don't have money. Okay, fine. Go get a job. Go get a job and use that as the sort, like, yeah, okay, the job sucks. It's a shitty job. But that job affords you to be able to do this, whatever this is.
You know, you've got an arsehole, haven't you? Get yourself down to Peru, pack up, and get back here with cocaine. No, I'm joking. No, of course not. But exactly, there's something you can do. Get onto a website that's wholesaling, and like buy some eBay stuff and resell it on there. There's always something that you could do for a little bit of a side hustle, and obviously pick a completely legal one. I mean, I think you might relate to this as well, being a coach. Like, you're always kind of looking around for, like, universal truths. Like, so if you hear something in multiple different dimensions or domains, sorry, okay, that's sort of ringing true now, right? And one of those things is just like, it's like, go, like, do something, right? Like, make it as simple as just like, go, right? And like, I was listening to this thing, and this is really sort of off the wall, but I was listening to this, these biblical guys who are like looking at the symbology in the Bible, right? And this is like, goes right back to there. And they're like, I think it's like Abraham, and they're like, God initially, or an angel initially appears to Abraham. And it's like, go, like, that's the instruction. And it's like, well, go where? It's like, just go. And then once he gets to where he's supposed to go, Abraham, the angel comes back again, and now the instruction is slightly more solid. It's like, he gives him a specific task. Like, go and do this. I don't know exactly what it is, but it becomes slightly more specific, right? And I think that relates to what you're saying about, like, if you're 22, you just got out of college, you're sitting at home, you're hitting the blunt while you're playing PlayStation 5, go. Like, pick something, do it. Then once you get to that place, more like, reality will give you, like, a more specific communication, if you like. Like, because like you say, you'll go and do the cooking class. You'll be like, okay, you know, the cooking was cool, but I like the bread making aspect of the cooking more than I do the general bit, right? And then so reality is going to say, ooh, you're going to, like, get pushed along this path a little bit more specific. So that's definitely what you should be doing, isn't it? Just do something.
You walk through one door, it's going to open other doors. Where you think that you are going to be, you know, isn't necessarily where you're going to end up. Like you just said, Abraham was 80 when that angel came to him. So you're never too old to just start. All right. The angel came and said, go. And him and his wife busted up and went to Egypt. And in Egypt, you know, they was trying to take his wife. So there was obstacles. Then he's like, well, this ain't working out in Egypt. So then he comes back to Canaan.
Yeah.
Establishes his settlement and everything. And next thing you know, looks like I'm going to have to sacrifice my son. Well, that sucks. And then, you know, so that's another obstacle he had to overcome. And then, but what came out of that?
God was doing that behind his back when he said the son sacrifice thing, because it turned out to be, not really.
Right. He didn't end up doing it. But the thing is that out of that, though, came, you know, the Jewish religion, Christianity eventually, Islam, you know, like all the Abrahamic faiths. You know, God told him that he was going to have more descendants than there's sand in the ocean or sand in the beach or something. I forget exactly, you know, how it was.
No descendants.
You know, right. And he's like, man, I'm 80. You know what I mean? Like, how is that possible? You know, and yeah, so like anything's possible once you start taking action and you start going out there and opening a couple of doors for yourself. Once you show the wherewithal that you can do it yourself, other people will say, okay, that person's on his purpose. That person's trying to do something, and that's a rare thing. Let's give him a little bit of help.
Yeah. And again, so I mean, like, let's again paint the picture for someone, say they're 22. Like we said, they come out of college, they don't know what to do. They're sitting on their ass, they're playing computer games, and let's say they're smoking weed, right? And it's like, so let's start with basics. Like, you're staying up till 3 a.m. and getting up at 12 every day, and you're smoking weed every day, right? Is it right for you to smoke weed every day? Like, okay, maybe you get some creative outlet from it, maybe it relaxes you, blah, 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 blah. Is it right to do it every single day? We can probably say it's probably not right to do it every single day. Is it right to stay up until 3 a.m. every day, which means you wake up at 12 p.m. the next day, right? It's probably not. So let's start there. Try and get to bed at like 11, and then it'll be easy for you to get up at 8, right? Because that'll be 8.5, 9 hours sleep. And now you're up at 8 a.m. in the morning, right? Now you might want to say, okay, what can I do now that's productive? All right, maybe I'll go on a 3 to 5K run, right? Maybe I'll do that, and then I'll come back, and maybe I'll have a hot shower, and maybe I'll end that by having a cold 45 seconds after my hot shower, right? Yeah. And what's that going to do? That's going to increase my testosterone. That's going to harden me up for the gritty day to come. And then you look around and you say, all right, like, how can I attack the world? Like, there must be some interest that I have. Do I like writing? Do I like speaking? Am I going to start a podcast? Am I going to start a journal? Am I going to start an article written over here, a blog, whatever it is? And then try it, give it a whirl, do it for the first day, and then try and build on it. Build it.
Do.
And this is just before you pop off, because I know this is your element and you can speak on this with real authority. Personally, of course, this is a new business, so I'm not like Bill Gates, like just follow me. I know the dating stuff really well. This other stuff I'm enthused about and I want to talk about a lot, but you're going to be the more authority to speak on it.
Man, look, here's the deal. So I'm a big advocate, like what we've just been saying. You just start. You know, when I started Modern Valor Dating, all right, you know, I was like, all right, one of the key elements that we need to have here is a YouTube channel, all right, and which we do, okay. And where I started was my buddy just recording me on his iPhone, you know, and over the course, we just started. I wasn't like, okay, I got to have all the right gear. I got to have somebody that can edit these videos. You know, I was like, we'll just start and then we'll figure it out along the way. And now, you know, and I mean, let's call it what it is. It's not like our YouTube channel, you know, we're not Joe Rogan over here, but nonetheless, you know, in the last, well, basically since Christmas, we went from roughly 350 subscribers to now we're at basically 2,200 since Christmas. You know what I mean? Because now the things started falling into place, you know, and I upgraded gear over time and things like that. And, you know, and there's still stuff I need to get, but nonetheless, you know, things started falling into place that wouldn't have fallen into place if I would have been like, all right, here, we can't start the YouTube channel for another 6 months until I buy this kind of camera, this kind of microphone, this kind of background, get this kind of lighting, you know, all that stuff. No, man, you just start and then figure it out along the way.
And like, I think obviously there's going to be disciplines and pursuits. Like, I mean, if we're going to climb Mount Everest, we're going to take our time and we're going to plan and we're going to pack and we're going to do our inventory and we're going to do all of that. But even then it would be the same thing, because it'd be like, just begin making the inventory. Don't say, oh yeah, well, it's off, it's in a year, blah, blah, blah. It's like, let's start planning for it now. Like, I think, because I don't want to get like, you know, sometimes self-help, they can say, oh, like, they're just telling you like, just, it's this like fluffy motivational without a substance. We're putting the substance on it here as well. But we're saying like, if you're that young guy, like, and so again, right, it comes back to this sort of mindset, right? And I'm sure you worked this out at some point, Dale, where you were like, there's just no excuses. There really isn't. Like, it's just like, I can like, I've got my specific drawbacks, as do you. We all have strengths, weaknesses, all the rest of it. But it's like, if you take this frame of mind, which is like ultimate responsibility, like, yeah, of course, there's some, I can't decide whether the sun comes up or not, but I've got a hell of a lot of control over my own life and what I do. And really, like, yeah, there's just no excuses. There's none. There really is none.
Yeah, you can't deposit excuses, man, you know, and life is all about equity, you know, in that what you put in is what you're going to get back out and then some, you know. And so, yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, you just have to not make excuses and control what you can control. Like you said, you can't control the sunrise, but you can control what you put in your mouth, you know, and what comes out of your mouth, right? Like there's things in your life that you can control, that you can make better for yourself, that you can build on those things, you know. Like, I mean, sometimes there's limitations. Like, look, if I was born without 2 arms, you know, odds are I'm probably not going to be an NFL quarterback, you know. You know, call me crazy, but you kind of need arms, you know. But at the same time, hey, maybe I can still coach without arms.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, this is it. And it's like, yeah, I mean, and it's just, this is where you build from. I'm just going back to that 22-year-old. I mean, I hope that they can get something out of, if they were listening to this, I hope they could get something out of this and say like, well, yeah, no, this is it. I'll just go and try something. And that's not to say like, drop out of university or drop out of college and just pursue your own dreams like with no sort of forethought. But if you are, yeah, if you are at a point in your life where you're in a little bit of a slump, it's like this is how you're going to get out of it. And it's, the modern world is so quick to give you that victimhood, to give you that excuses. And it's tempting, right? It's tempting to be like, you know, look, some people are obviously like, they're depressed and it's like they're chemically, whatever, they went through something horrific, grief, whatever it is, right? And they're just in a real hard place. And maybe me and you talking our shit isn't going to lift them out of it. But there's some people who aren't in that space, but the excuse of depression comes along and it's like, well, I could latch onto that. And they're not even consciously thinking this, right? This is an unconscious thing. And it's like, yeah, I mean, to an extent, my favorite film is a film called In Bruges, right? And there's a character in that, and he's like talking about being suicidal. They're talking about being suicidal. He's like suicidal. He's like, I'm suicidal. You're suicidal. We're all fucking suicidal. We just don't do it. And there's truth to that. It's like, life's fucking hard. We all want that excuse. We all want to be like, don't judge me to regular standards because I've got this particular victimhood. We all want to be able to have that cover, but it's not going to help you in the long run.
No,
what's going to help you is taking that ultimate responsibility frame of mind and being like, I can fucking achieve something here, so let's go and get it.
Right. Absolutely. And you're right, man. There's a lot of victimhood, and it's really easy to latch onto that like a security blanket, you know, and just like, I'm just gonna hang on to this. Then, but inevitably, what happens when somebody does that, or they hang on to that, no longer is it just a security blanket. It's now attached to their ego.
Yeah.
And so when you try to tell them something, that you're not attacking the individual, you're basically helping that or trying to walk them through a situation, but they take it personal because now that thing, whatever that thing is attached to their ego. It becomes part of their identity. And then it's like, okay, yeah, this situation sucks and I wish I didn't have it, but it's who I am. And so I'm more, there's more comfort and predictability in hanging on to this toxic mindset than there is the freedom, but the fear of the unknown of letting it go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so
Absolutely.
you got to be really careful, man, about hanging on to excuses, because it's going to happen over time, man.
I completely agree. And it's like, I think there is kind of a straight white male privilege, if you like, but it's not necessarily the way you would think of it, because it's like, because you and I, we're straight white males, right? And so we don't have a victimhood status that we can cling on to in that regard. I mean, you could say something about depression or something like that, but we don't have an inbuilt identity victim card that we can play, right? And to an extent, that is a privilege, because it's like there's nowhere to hide. There's no excuses, and the society's not going to allow me any excuses. And so I've just got to get on and do it. Whereas, say if I was a black dude and I was like, I bought into some of this stuff that was coming at me from society, which is like, oh, I'm oppressed, blah, blah, blah. It would sort of make sense if I didn't make a success of myself. I'd be like, well, of course, like I'm not to blame. Like, do you see what I mean? So whereas we don't have that comfort blanket, so it's just go out and do. And that in itself is a form of privilege, even though it might not seem like it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of splitting hairs a little bit, but I mean, I think it depends on where, that maybe the overarching theme of society, I guess. But like myself, for instance, I grew up in a predominantly black area.
Detroit. Right? Yeah.
And so, like me coming up, it was challenging in the fact that I'm the minority.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, again, that's not victimhood mentality or anything like that. But, I made plenty of friends and whatnot. But the thing is that I find it to not be very helpful to look at society as a whole and in general, like I'm this, so this is the privilege or the unprivilege that I'm should or shouldn't be getting.
Oh, of course, man. No, of course. I mean, of course, these labels it's a complete nonsense up to top to bottom, isn't it? Because if you're a gay, good-looking black guy from a well-to-do middle-class family with money, of course you've got more privilege than a one-armed, ugly white dude who's broke from a broken home. Like, of course. So it's all nonsense anyway. But I'm just saying it's part of the excuses that come at you from society. But yeah. Well, listen, man, I mean, we've done about 40 minutes here. I was trying to do about 25 minutes, but I was just that much interested in what you were saying. But
I told you, man, you gotta watch the clock, man.
No, but you brought it, man. You brought it, and I would love to sit down with you again sometime if you.
Oh yeah, absolutely, dude. Yeah, absolutely.
But no, that's brilliant, man, and thank you very much. And
well, thanks for having me, man. The honor and a privilege.
If you could just let everyone know where they can find you.
All right. If you want to find us, and I know that you do, and you should, because we drop content like crazy, like stupid content all the time. A few places to get at us. modernvalordating.com. That's going to give you the best insight into what we're about, what we do, what it's like to work with us. All our coaches are on there. We have blogs that we post and all that kind of stuff. And then it also has links to all our social medias. But if you want to sidestep that, at Modern Valor Dating on Instagram is a great place. And also, we drop 3 videos a week on YouTube. And so you can go to youtube.com/Modern Valor Dating, or just Google Modern Valor Dating and you'll find everything.
Modern Valor Dating, you'll find Dale. And that, yeah, like he says, man, they're dropping content all the time, and it's fucking wicked. So thank you very much for your time, man, and hopefully we'll speak again.
No doubt. Sounds good.